So they'll be calling you a radical, Kevin Blanch. So long day yesterday out of San Onofre, you know, so I'll show you the picture. We made Bloomberg, we made the UPI. Bloomberg calls us a bunch of hippies. What a great compliment. So shooting in space, I didn't know what I was laying, but I was laying right at the umbilical cord, right on the womb. So, but anyway, I want to talk, Rachel's going to give a lot of information about her path and her journey on the poisoned food, how they forced the children to eat it, the cover up inside Fukushima. She was there. First off, let's talk General Dynamics. I walked, you know, all through La Jolla this morning. So I want people to know General Dynamics in La Jolla is hot. I mean, that whole thing has never been cleaned up. Everybody here knows that it was a scam from the 50s. They're still out there, that nuclear waste in those 2 experimental reactors, right in La Jolla. So get this, Trump has given a $3.2 million grant to General Dynamics to bring more nuclear waste to San Diego to experiment. Well, we're trying to get rid of that nuclear waste in San Diego. I mean, La Jolla, Bechtel's baby. I mean, Jewel by the Sea. I mean, isn't it ironic? Scripps is right there. You know, so all these elitists, they think they can go to the luxury good of the freak, and so they live here and poison themselves. So let's talk about the salmon collapse real quick, and then we'll get to Rachel's dissertation. So the salmon collapse is in earnest. It's epic. I mean, it's a catastrophe in Alaska. The Kenai, all 3 rivers are running less than 2% of the Terrian mean. We're getting way in. The Copper River is a catastrophe. The Copper River, what's 129,000, I think, 130 something per thousand for the year. The 10-year mean's approaching 700,000. It's half over. It's a catastrophe. You know, the collapse of dead tide pools. So, I mean, the Pacific Ocean dying, real estate values make all-time highs. Okay, Rachel, I'm ready. So, go ahead.
All right. So, I think today I'm going to start off just talking about my experience with the school system. So, I was a teacher in Japan. I worked for the Mira City Public School District, and I was an English teacher there. And part of my job is to sit with the kids during lunch and make, you know, English conversation with the kids. You know, we'd have the English class, and I would take turns with each class each day of the week and have conversation while we have lunch, you know, and we talk about the food and everything. So I was very connected to the school lunches already, just with my job. And it was real interesting that they would give you these menus, because my children also went to school in the public school system. And I would always, as a parent, always get a menu of what they would make. And then they would go so far as giving us the recipes. Children in Japan love school lunches. The Japanese school lunch is so good, and I love school lunch, and it's so good. It's so well made, so nutritious and healthy, and I love it. And so they make a big deal out of it. They're lucky to have school lunches, you know, and so all the kids help serve the school lunches also. So everybody takes part in the whole lunch thing. And it dawned on me after I came back from Okinawa, after I had been evacuated to Okinawa, and I came back and supposedly everything was fine and normal, and I went back to work. And one day I was eating lunch with the kids, and I was just wondering, you know, they must be testing this, it must be fine, right? And I asked one of the teachers, and he responded, he's like, yeah, I'm sure they're testing it. And I'm like, did you guys get any kind of, oshirase, is a notification?
No, she's talking right post the nuclear disaster. We're talking 2011 right now.
Yeah. After I came back from Okinawa, yeah, sorry, I just picked up from before. And so, after when the earthquake had happened, I had evacuated to Okinawa for a few weeks, came back because everything was fine, went back to work. And they're telling me that nobody, when I asked a teacher about, is anybody checking? I'm sure they are. Everybody just assumed that whoever they is checking.
Same here.
Yeah. And it's the children's school lunches. And so a friend of mine had heard something about the milk. And she decided not to let her daughter drink the milk, because the cows in Fukushima, and you might have seen this in the news or something, I don't know, but Fukushima has tons of cow farms, okay? And so what happened with these cows was they had to, after the nuclear explosions, they had to get rid of these cows or leave them there to die. and a lot of cows died there, and some farmers were able to sell their cows. Well, they were already irradiated by the time these cows got sold.
Which, by the way, milk is the very strongest thing in a mammal. It's synergized. Radiation was synergized inside the mammal. So always know the very strongest the first rating will be. You know, mother's milk.
Yeah.
Cows, humans. Yeah. Go ahead.
So yeah, so then we started just, you know, kind of thinking about this, and we decided to go to the city office and find out, are they really testing the school lunches or not? Well, we found out that no, they're not testing. There are no testings happening. And then we're like, well, how do we know that the food is safe? Because we're hearing left and right that the green tea is recalled, the milk is contaminated, the mushrooms are contaminated, the spinach is contaminated. All these things are contaminated and they're recalling, and these things are from places that are further from the reactor than where we live. And so we decided to find out, well, where are the school lunches sourced from? The vegetables and the meats, where are they sourced from? Turns out, 9 times out of 10, they're all on that eastern region, right around that area. Vegetables, fruits, meats. Tokyo children, Yokohama children, Yokosuka children, we get our vegetables and food for the school lunches from those areas. So that was really alarming, and we started a group there called No No Hoshano. Hoshano means radiation, so it's like no radiation. No No Hoshano, and which later they had to change the name because it was too strong. So we started this group, and we were pushing for the cities to test for radiation in the school lunches, and we won. We thought we were celebrating that. Yeah, you know, they're gonna test, and this was over a course of like 3 or 4 months that we were fighting for this. We went and talked to the mayor, all this kind of stuff. I've got videos of all that also. And we get a letter, and there was an article published and everything, you know, from the city saying that we're going to start testing the school lunches, and the way it was worded was to make the parents feel more at ease, which that really made me mad, because it's not about the parents. No. It's about the kids ingesting poison. Yeah, getting me to shut up. Right. So, okay, fine. So our win was actually not a win, because this is what they would do. Check this out. They will take one full school lunch from every day of the week, randomly from different schools. So Monday through Friday school lunch, then they're gonna blend it all together. And what does that do? Dilutes it, okay? Because you've got some food that may be not contaminated, right, and then you've got some food that is highly contaminated, and now it's under the limit. Now it's under the 100 becquerel limit, okay? So they take Monday through Friday food, and they blend it all together, and Friday they test it, and then following week we get the results. The kids already ate the food. So this is why they said to make the kid, or make the parents feel more at ease. It was not about the kids, because the kids would already eat this food, and then it was tested, which is really, really lame. So anyways, there's this college in Yokohama, I believe. They were doing just testings, you know, for their class, and they tested these oranges in the fall of their mandarin oranges, mikan, in the fall of 2011.
By the way, so you know, the Yokohama professor has came out just in the last week from this very college. And these new data that's out, they've been lying the whole time, whatever. It's his data is from the very school you're speaking of. It's being posted right now this week. So go ahead.
I'll have to look that up.
Yeah.
So these, so it's public. They made it public that these oranges were radioactive, okay, in the fall of 2011. And then that's right about, you know, they plan out the whole year of school lunches and where they're going to buy it and everything, you know. And so it had already been planned that later, you know, in the summer of 2012, or right before the summer of 2012, they're going to be selling these oranges that they had already found to be radioactive. How can they sell them? Well, they're frozen oranges. It's a special dessert that it's a tradition in Japanese schools that at the end of the school year that they're going to serve frozen mikan because it's not in season yet, and they had frozen them from the fall, and then they serve them, and so the kids are all excited. You know, it's a treat, frozen oranges, and they had so Yokohama, Zushi, and Yokosuka had already paid for these oranges. They were already paid for, and so they had to serve them. That's what they told me. They had no choice. They already paid for them. I'm like, why don't you just throw them in the trash? You know, I talked to so many principals. So let me go. I'll get to that later. But this is a flyer that we made for the parents of the schools. We had the list of all the schools that and the dates on when they were going to serve these oranges, and we would spend all night. In Japan, it's okay to put stuff in the mailboxes, so we would go in that area of those schools that we knew that the next day they were going to be, or the next week or whatever in advance, and we would be stuffing mailboxes with these letters, and we would hand them out in front of the school to the parents, right in front of the school, and just trying to educate the parents. And then also I would go to the schools and talk to the principals. Now, one thing I want to point out here, a lot of people argue that it's not that high. It's only 6.5 becquerels. This is based on the oranges that they tested. So we don't know how much was in each orange that each child consumed. We don't know what the children, what their health condition was like when they ate that. If there's somebody that is lacking, let's say they're lacking in calcium that day, well, guess what? Strontium acts as calcium in your body and your bones are going to absorb it. We don't know the condition of each child. Okay, and then we're giving it to children elementary school from 1st grade to 6th graders. Okay, they're more susceptible. DNA can be altered by these isotopes. We don't know. Okay, and my argument was, another thing they do over there is they go mikan picking. My experience is that there are these hills of mikan trees, and you go and you pick them. And so there's some at the top of the hill and there's some at the bottom of the hill. Well, guess what? From my experience of taking readings and testing dirt samples, where everything runs down and gathers, that's going to be a lot higher than places that are maybe just touched by the wind and stuff is blown off of it. So the trees at the top of the hill are going to be less contaminated than the trees at the bottom of the hill. Okay, so we don't even know there's no way to say that it's safe. That was my point. I could just tell them.
They'd already recalled them. That's the bottom line. The bottom line is they had already come out, the government had already come out and says they're radioactive. And that's the government themselves. So they admitted they're radioactive.
Oh, well, it's okay, Kevin, because they sent out a letter to all the parents that it's totally fine, you know, that the 100 becquerels is the limit, and these are way lower than that, and so it's totally safe.
Just like they did here.
Yeah. So it's totally safe. I'm sorry, I don't want to eat, and this was my point that I would make. Okay, so if there is a becquerel of caca in your school lunch, are you okay? If there's 6 becquerels of caca in your school lunch, are you okay? Are you going to eat 6 becquerels of caca?
Yeah, you can't believe them numbers anyway.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're independent data, so.
Yeah, so
you went in and so you decided to go start collecting your own data.
Yeah. So, so this is the letter.
You didn't believe it. You didn't believe them, so you're like, I'm going to go get some oranges and I'm going to test them myself. Yeah, she didn't believe their numbers, which they've been proven to be lies. So listen to this story, what she did.
So we went to the different schools.
This is her kitchen.
This is my kitchen in Japan.
And other moms working with her.
Yeah, that's my friend, my partner in crime.
Don't give her name. Okay, go ahead.
And so she and I drove to all the schools and did all the letters.
And she has videos of this. She has videos of this, hiding, sneaking, going and getting the freaking oranges and they throw them out.
Yeah. So after the kids, you know, after we spent all night and all day handing out letters, talking to principals and stuff, they're going to serve it anyways. Nothing we could do. Okay, fine.
So you want to know what the real levels are.
Yeah. So I at one school, I snuck into the trash and they're so clean. Japanese are so good about their trash. They separated their trash, so I could grab a whole bag of oranges that were thrown, peels, pieces, you know.
By the way, not here. Not here. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I could take a whole thing of trash it was just pure oranges. And that's what you see right here on my counter. And you can see, I don't know if you can see that very well, but yeah, you can see it's really just oranges, peelings and stuff. And so
you stuck around and you went to multiple schools. You got oranges. You took them to her house.
Yeah.
You got them, and then you took them to a lab, right?
Yeah, yeah. So I had to grind it. I had to grind it and to get it into the little container to send it to the lab. And let's see, I got the results.
By the way, do you think that hers isn't scientific? I can guarantee you hers is 1,000 times more reliable than that government data.
Yeah.
So go ahead, let's see the results.
Yeah. So compared to compared, do I have the English? I don't think so. Sorry.
It's in both.
Okay, so it says Mikan there. And this was July 5th, 2012. Okay, and there's 11.9 becquerels. That's twice as much as what they said. Okay, and this is being fed to the kids.
Which is over the legal limits by a long ways. It's radioactive, period.
Yeah.
Even the 6.5 is.
That's just cesium. What else is in there? Plutonium? What else is in there?
Plutonium, yeah.
What else is in there?
All of the above.
You know?
So, did you present this data to the school?
Oh yeah, because there was the next city and then the next city, and so we went and we talked and we showed them, you know, and they don't care. The principals, this is what I went and did at each school. And I'm going to show you some graphic pictures because I wanted them not to serve it. I wanted them to not serve it, period.
Of course.
And I wanted to prove to them that we don't know what's in it. We don't know their health conditions. Same things I just told you right now, you know. And what kind of proof could I come up with before I got the data? What kind of proof could I come up with? The best thing that I could come up with was what really convinced me was when I went online and I researched Chernobyl, and there are some children in Belarus that are in orphanages because the families can't take care of them. The country's has economic problems. The health system can't do anything. I mean, we can't really do anything.
Oh, I can write a whole book just on that. I've been there. I mean, it's a catastrophe, and the whole birth defects and the whole dynamic. What has happened to the Ukraine is beyond, and it's like the most beautiful city in the world, Kiev. Yeah. And so this whole show these birth defect pictures, which the same thing's going on in India right now. The same thing is going on in Fallujah because at San Onofre, I want people to very much know this, they're spraying white phosphorus. I am at the head of the support group at LDS and at the VA in Salt Lake. I sit with these Marines, just like my father, who were used white phosphorus in Fallujah. They are dying so young of cancer in droves, and they're having birth defect babies left and freaking right all over Fallujah, all over Syria now. They're using the same thing in Syria. That's what this is all about. This is about money and wealth and freaking power for the waste, for the military-industrialized complex. That's what these reactors are. That's what Japan is. So show these pictures.
So I would go and I would sit down with principals. I would make an appointment and have a meeting with every principal and some of the teachers, and I would show them these pictures. These were kids whose parents were exposed to long-term low-dose radiation in Belarus.
By the way, there's no such thing as low dose. And by the way, in Belarus, this birth defect thing didn't go away. It's still happening today. And the females, you know what the average lifespan right now is there? You know how well, Annika died. I mean, these people are dying of cancer. It's not just the birth defect. It's such, that happened in '86. And Fukushima is 1 billion times more than that ever drained to be.
So these pictures were taken in 2008. So in '86, there's children that are being exposed. They grow up. 20 years later, they have children. 2008. These are about 8, 9-year-olds. Yeah. And it's not just cancer, but other things. Like this is like a gland issue. Right. And this is a heart issue.
We call it Chernobyl heart, which is strontium.
Look at these cleft lips.
Yeah, it's a big deal over there.
Look at that. So when I
Which is
saw these
happening
pictures,
in Fallujah right now.
Yep, this is a Fallujah baby. This is the child of an American
White phosphorus,
military.
by the way, people don't know what white phosphorus is. They spray it all over. It's depleted uranium. It's nuclear waste from nuclear reactors.
So,
Which, by the way, Bechtel and all of them right here in La Jolla, General Dynamics again. So, go ahead.
So people don't really understand what it means. Like, why do we fight for this? Why are we so concerned with becquerels of cesium? Why does it matter? Why is it important? Like, okay, maybe, okay, cancer, this or that. And people don't really understand. It only takes like a speck of dust, just a piece of dust to get into a child's body or into your body, my body, and to change, to alter the DNA. So this is the future of Japan, and this is what I would tell the principal. This is the future of your country. These are my children's children that are going to be born like this. This is who I have to take care of.
So I want people to know this, that we've had 7 years now. And everything I say, it's being verified. The cancer rates post-Fukushima all over Japan are skyrocketing. The cancer rates in the United States, CDC, post-Fukushima, started 2012, are skyrocketing. So this isn't just the cover-up. It's starting to be very well documented. This whole mutation, the whole freaking birth defects, your daughter had freaking got cancer. She was a kindergarten, one of these ones that were eating this had that. She had to have surgery, your own daughter.
Yep. She had a cyst in her fallopian tube and
Not to mention
twisted.
the USS Reagan sailors, the 32 ships that were right here in San Diego. So when you present this data to these principals and these teachers and these other moms, how did this play out?
Yeah, well, I would, put it in front of them. I've had some principals slam it closed and say, "Don't show me that. Don't come in here and show me that." Oh. And who do you think you are? You're an American. You don't, I said that, they said that they accused me of wanting to kill the farmers' children because they had this big campaign, boy band, billboards of boy bands eating Fukushima peaches like this, like that. So, and support, and it says support Fukushima farmers, because they're famous for their peaches. And so they had Lady Gaga come out.
Really?
On PBS. Yeah, it's their version of
Does
PBS.
Lady Gaga know that she was used for this?
I don't know.
Oh, I'm going to find out. I didn't know this.
Yeah, she walked out on the stage for their press conference or whatever on the channel that's equivalent to our PBS, which is the NHK, which my husband said they would never put her on there before.
Oh,
it's
NHK
like an education.
we know who runs HNK.
Oh, NHK, yeah.
TEPCO.
And so Lady Gaga walks out, drinking green tea, because it's good. And then the Japanese came over here to New York.
Oh, she's going to get it from me because I got connections in New York that know her. Well, I didn't know this story.
Well, they did a big old thing.
She's going to be, it's like what's her name to change her name down here to Rita Fukushima. Oh, I went at her. I have a lot of connections on a lot of places, and I get to these people. It's like, how many of those different musicians went? I mean, remember when Paul McCartney went over there and came over and almost died over there? Sir Paul. So these guys that participate in this bullshit, are they just ignorant? No. I mean, they want to whore themselves out like that? You dumbasses, you're going to be in scripts,
Yeah.
When you get cancer, let's hear how that freaking karma worked out for you. So your readings prove.
Yeah, and so, and there's one conversation with this one very, very rude principal that, they kind of hated me over there.
I'll bet.
This one principal, we really butt head because he was telling me how they want to support the farmers and we got to help them and they're committed. Their school has already decided and they're like teaching the children all this stuff about, we're going to support the farmers and the very patriotic thing. And I'm like, you know what?
Same bullshit here. Flag waving bullshit.
That's poison. How can you say you're going to feed poison to the children? He got so mad at me that I called the Japanese grown food poison.
It is poison. And by the way, there's a reason the whole world has it banned to this day, except for here. Hillary, bring it on. We're the only ones. So you see the propaganda all over the internet. And I have so many ties in Taiwan, in South Korea, in North Korea, everywhere. Everywhere I have so many ties because of this YouTube site and my connections with people. And then I'll talk about the State Secrets Act and how a lot of that got blocked in Japan.
Yeah.
But the whole world, every time they say, oh, we're going to start loosening it, they turn to the streets and they go psycho. And they've never been able to overturn one of it anywhere on earth. The whole world. It's just like the tariff situation with Obama and Canada and Trudeau. Tariff on milk. Well, the reason the tariffs are in Europe on dairy is because our dairy is poison. We milk our cows for it, and they're not going to, I'm telling you, you ain't never getting dairy from the U.S. in freaking Europe, in Canada, whatever. You know, they're like, you poison yourselves, fools. Yeah. This isn't about economics, it's about their health.
Yeah.
You know, of course, Japan just keeps pounding this.
Yeah.
And say, oh, it's okay, it's okay. It's not work. It's the greatest failure. That's the power of the people. Yeah. Not here, the dumb sheep here, oh, fuck, eat up. But the rest of the world's like, fuck you, because they know what you just said. There's plenty of other mamas, there's plenty of other teachers there that have been telling these tales to the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Not here because we're afraid.
Yeah.
Rightfully so.
Well, where I work in Mira City, you know, I was causing a big ordeal. It was kind of, you know, it was really rough because I was working in the school system, and then I was doing this, you know. Mira City wasn't serving the oranges, so I didn't have to go to those schools and face my bosses, you know. But my bosses knew what I was doing, and one of the principals there, she told me, she's like, Rachel, continue, use your voice as a mother. You know, she's like, I can't say these things, because I would talk to them about what I was doing. I would talk to my, you know, my coworkers, the people I hung out with. I would tell them, you know, and they knew what I was doing, and they said, as a principal of the school, I can't say any of this. I remember one time I was there teaching an English class, and I'm standing up in front of the class, and some other kids are having recess, and it was that winter 2011, and it was snowing. It was rare. It's like San Diego here. They never got snow over there, just very rarely. And it started snowing in you know what, I don't think it was December. I think it might have been like January or something of 2012. But I remember just looking over and seeing these kids catching the snow in their mouth, you know, and I just was like, I went over to the window, like in the middle of my teaching this class, and I'm like, don't eat the snow! I was like, they really thought I was nuts, you know, but I had to explain, and then I explained to the kids, and I was really kind of scared.
Well, you weren't nuts. That's the sad thing is, you were very logical as a mother, as an educator. You were extremely responsible, and that you did what you were supposed to do. Just because the establishment went along and they did the same thing here, I mean, you did the honorable thing. They did the dishonorable thing, and it's been playing out. So, you know, we had this conversation, and then I'll cut this off and we'll start it again because, you know, we're getting to the time limit.
Yeah.
So stay tuned. We'll put part 2.